Today we're going to talk about why saving our cutouts or selections as PNG files instead of PSD or JPEGs is a more efficient way of working in Photoshop. We're also going to talk about a few selection methods and other techniques. And here we have all the PNG files or cutouts of the staff at the New York City Lab School. And so students last semester cut out these teachers, and we did a number of projects with them, including recently created a floor plan. And what do PNG files do? How are they different from PSD or JPEGs? Well, very simply, here we have an example of a cutout that I made a long time ago, and this is a flat image. If you look in the layers palette, we can see that it's a single image, but when you save PNG files, it maintains this sort of transparency. So very simply, I can click and drag this file into this image right here, and I'm left with the transparency. It makes working with these projects far more easy, because if we had the JPEG, for example, instead of this PNG, we'd have the white in the background or another solid color. So we're going to be using our portraits that we took and making PNG files for future projects. Now, I know that you guys know how to use the magnetic lasso. We've talked about the addition and subtraction functions, but we want these to be really, really nice PNGs. So we're going to be using that, but also let's talk about some best practices. Sometimes I've experienced in the past students having difficulty when making a selection sort of at the top of their head. I know that these aren't always precise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to switch. Actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to switch from the magnetic lasso to the marquee, specifically the elliptical marquee. And please notice that I've got the add to selection function checked. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and I'm dragging, and I'm actually going to hold spacebar. And because I'm holding spacebar, I can now move the selection, and I'm going to sort of align it with the top of her head. So it looks just like that. And it's not going to be total perfect, but it's going to look significantly better than it would if we were using the magnetic lasso. And you'll notice that I'm going to use it again, and I'm holding spacebar and releasing spacebar to get a really nice selection. And that looks pretty good right there. Great. I'm going to use it again, so I'm holding spacebar, and great. And so this elliptical marquee is a nice way to get sort of even, smooth curves. There's other ways to do this, including using the quick selection tool and the pen tool, but we're not going to be talking about that quite yet. So let's pretend I'm doing an amazing selection. Let's pretend that this selection is perfect. How exactly do we make a PNG file? So here are the steps. So let's pretend this is a perfect selection. I'm going to press Command C to copy, and that's crucial. So we've copied it. Now we're going to go to File, New. We're going to press OK, and the width and height fits the dimensions of our selection perfectly. I'm going to press Command V to paste, and clearly I did not do a tremendous job, but we're going to pretend for the moment again that this works. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to double click on background, just like we've done before, to unlock it. And now we're going to click and drag this layer to the garbage can. Again, we're going to click, and I'm dragging this to the garbage can. It's in the layers palette. Boom, it's gone. Now we're only left with this. So finally, is there anything else that we can do? There sure is. If you press Command M or go to Image Adjustments, Curves, what we're going to notice is that this window pops up. You can click and drag this in any direction, but you'll notice if you click in the center and bring it up, that's way too light, and that looks weird. That's a little too dark. What we're going to do instead is make a very subtle S curve. So we know that the letter S is sort of shaped like this, right? And that doesn't look good at all. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to cancel this. And again, I'm going to go to Image Adjustments, and I'm going to go to Curves or Command M, and I'm going to make a very, very slight S curve. And so this is super subtle. And so now when I press OK, and you can see that it hardly looks anything like this line, looks pretty linear, but it's got that slightest curve. I'm going to press OK. And now when I go back a little bit, you can see that the lights are just a little bit lighter and the darks are a little bit darker. Super subtle in this image, but it can become far more apparent as you experiment with this going forth. So right now we've got the nice color adjustments. We've got quote unquote the nice selection. We're going to click on File, Save As, and we're going to save this not as a PSD file or Photoshop file. Instead, we're going to save this as a PNG, And here it is, down here, sort of near the bottom. And you're going to save it as first name, last name, portrait. Great. And then you're going to simply save and submit this to Google Classroom. Please let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.